of Jisoo-yoon seems unstoppable. Even the Sword Saint, who is a war veteran, has never seen this amount of aura in one place. Okata Akira tries to stop this calamity with all of his might. It turns out that all-out attack was a feint, and Jisoo-yoon appears behind Okata Akira. Jisoo-yoon uses sword-proof skill on Okata Akira. The strength of this sword attack was so powerful that it doesn't even give him the time to counterattack. Her speed makes her attacks difficult to analyze. Okata Akira can't believe that he is losing to a girl with low field experience than him. This reminds him of one of his dungeon raids with Suzuki Ren, where Suzuki Ren asked him if a person is able to defeat an elephant. Okata Akira is not sure what Suzuki Ren wants to ask him. Suzuki Ren says that they got lucky in this secret dungeon, but what he is trying to say is that they should avoid elephants with abilities that are hard to defeat. Okata Akira says that it can be the case for someone like Suzuki Ren who only fights with pure sword techniques, but it's different for those people who can use various skills like him. With his abilities, he can even defeat an elephant. He has the convenience of being able to use skills the moment he learns them without training. Thanks to the stats he has obtained from various dungeons by leveling up, and now he has mastered overwhelming skills. Suzuki Ren says that he is curious about the moment he will really meet a real elephant. At present, Okata Akira needs to step back in order to get out of this vicious storm of blades. Okata Akira uses North Comet Sword, but before he can get out of range, Jisoo-yoon blocks his retreat path. He can't get out of the range of Jisoo-yoon's skills because he is lacking in speed and he needs to find another way. After blocking so many heavy strikes, his body is almost at its limit. One more strike and the sword slips away from the hands of Okata Akira. His hand is bleeding from the impact of the last attack and there is a bloodthirsty demon in front of him. The whole body of Okata Akira is trembling from the aftershocks, and he says that Jisoo-yoon managed to overpower him with pure physical brute strength. Jisoo-yoon says that she already told him that he will die if she goes all out. Okata Akira shouts at Jisoo-yoon for being an elephant, and Jisoo-yoon misunderstood it as Okata Akira saying that she is fat. With that being said, Jisoo-yoon cuts him in two pieces. System announces that Jisoo-yoon of the Korean server has won. A victory buff is given to the Korean server. Attack power of Korean players will increase by 30% for 2 hours. Jisoo-yoon sheaths her sword. The Japanese players are in disbelief after witnessing the end of their Sword Saint. On the other side, the Korean players are overjoyed at this victory. Everyone cheer up Jisoo-yoon while Han-ho says, "How dare that Sword Saint call out Jisoo-yoon an elephant?" All of a sudden, something flies off in the sky. It turns out to be the head of the Sword Saint, and he seems to have grown some fangs. The body of Okata Akira starts regenerating by itself. He even grew 2 lightning wings. His face fully changed, and he says that "you have made me resort to my final option." The Korean players are in shock after witnessing this transformation, as Okata Akira now don't even looks like a human. Jisoo-yoon is not sure it's a skill or a mutation, but before she can think about anything else, Sungwoo says that he will take care of him now, since dealing with big guys is his specialty. Sungwoo tells Okata Akira to come at him and he will tear him into shreds. Jisoo-yoon notices something and she informs Sungwoo that the thing above Okata Akira is the real problem. There are some flying objects coming from the back of Okata Akira. These objects turn out to be missiles, and they are coming straight for them. The missiles end up in a huge explosion. These missiles were filled with some sort of gas, and even the Japanese players got swept up in its impact. Sungwoo says that this must be the breath of the abyss. A notification pops up informing him that his mana increased drastically due to the breath of the abyss. Sungwoo says that it must be the Evolution Society, but he is not sure why they released Breath of the Abyss since they already know that it makes him stronger. Sungwoo has no idea what they are planning, but he will wipe them all out today. Sungwoo uses his Grim Reaper scythe to change into his Anubis form. The time remaining until the cooldown of the Anubis form has increased due to large amount of Breath of the Abyss. Sungwoo says that the Evolution Society must have perfected the formula to make the Breath of the Abyss, since the air around him is now on a whole new different level than before. Sungwoo tells Jisoo-yoon to gather everyone and get out of here. He will slowly catch up to them while keeping watch on the surroundings. Deep down, Sungwoo knows well that the Evolution Society will not simply end things with this attack. On a nearby rooftop, Sungwoo spots some beastmen. The beastmen are filling the whole area with the Breath of the Abyss. Sungwoo says that they are trying to cover the whole downtown, and he must not be their target. Another notification pops up informing Sungwoo that a lot of Breath of Abyss has accumulated and the cooldown of his abilities has decreased. About 5,000 members of the Yamato Guild are about to die, and Okata Akira is not sure what these bastards are up to. Sungwoo is thinking that all of this must be part of their plan from the start. Soon he spots a transport aircraft coming toward their direction. The aircraft heads directly for Okata Akira at full speed. Finally, it gets crashed into Okata Akira. The speed of the aircraft was at max, and it left a huge impact. Okata Akira somehow managed to barely block the aircraft, and now he has realized that the Evolution Society has betrayed them. The upper roof of the carrier pops out like a cherry with a huge blast. A huge slimy tentacle comes out of the blasted carrier. Okata Akira is in awe at this abysmal creation of the Evolution Society. More huge slimy tentacle monsters pop out of the big tentacle. All of them pierce deep into the body of Okata Akira. In a few seconds, they completely devour the Sword Saint, leaving nothing behind. Sungwoo is thinking that this thing feels more bizarre and terrifying than a real monster. The tentacle monsters start absorbing the breath of the abyss. Soon Sungwoo realizes that it's not only the breath of the abyss it is absorbing, but souls as well. Even Sungwoo becomes terrified at this revelation. The tentacle monster is growing stronger with each passing second. Someone comes out from the thick breath of the abyss. This person turns out to be Doctor, and he greets the Necromancer, saying that it's been a while since they last met. Sungwoo has no idea what he means by it's been a while because this is the first time Sungwoo is meeting him. Doctor says that this must be the first time Sungwoo is seeing him in this body. He further informs Sungwoo that he has met a different version of him before. Sungwoo says that you must be the Doctor who is the head of the Evolution Society. Sungwoo knows well that his clones are taking up most of the top 20 ranks in the Korean server. Sungwoo asks him about his rank, but Doctor says that it does not matter, because ultimately all of them are one person. He further says that Sungwoo, along with all corpses lying around them, must become one as well, and that will be the climax of this game. Sungwoo asks him if it was his plan to lure in the Japanese server. Doctor compliments him for being sharp. The former clone of Doctor who was killed by Sungwoo already told him that he was researching death. But in order to do that, a lot of samples were required. That's why a large-scale war was inevitable, and this is the result of that. Doctor officially introduces Sungwoo to Chimera, the ultimate creature made by researching death. An exclusive quest by the title of The Wrong Being of Death pops out. It's a hunt-type quest, and its ultimate goal is to eliminate the player-crafted creature Chimera. An exclusive skill will be given as a reward. Its description says, those who delude death are performing rituals based on false beliefs, and the result of these rituals has finally made its appearance. If the threat is not quickly eliminated, this group will go beyond deluding death, to the point of making death itself meaningless, so that no existence who can face death will remain in this world. If the target is not swiftly dealt with, it will turn into a being that cannot be easily handled. The decision of Sungwoo will influence his fate. Sungwoo is not sure if he should be relieved, because according to the quest, this thing should be quite weak right now. The mouth of the Chimera starts bulging from the inside. The Chimera is getting stronger by absorbing souls, and the more time passes, the more stronger it will get. The Chimera will be quite disastrous for the humanity if it manages to defeat Sungwoo here. Doctor says that he will make a cool future with the help of this creature. Doctor is thinking that he has thoroughly investigated the power of the Necromancer. He will kill the Necromancer for sure by absorbing him. Sungwoo tells him to not be mistaken as he puts on a crown. This mythic rank item is called Shadow King's Crown. Its effects can only be unlocked after completing its connected quest. Its description says, Shadow King's power can only be used if all of the Shadow King's relics are collected. Right now, Sungwoo possesses all 4 relics related to the Shadow King. Sungwoo tells the Doctor that today will not be the day he will die. Sungwoo receives the Shadow King's power by collecting all relics. Sungwoo activates minion regeneration and death response in the area. Doctor says that he has already seen these 2 abilities. A loud sound can be heard as some minions get summoned behind Sungwoo. These minions are giant bosses that Sungwoo defeated in the past. A new skill called Shadow Army activates on its own. As the heir of the Shadow King, Sungwoo has learned a new skill called Shadow King's Power. Shadow soldiers start emerging from the shadow of the minions. It's a special rank active skill. It requires the Shadow King's relics to be equipped. It decreases the cooldown of all skills related to the Shadow King by 50%. Sungwoo can now materialize all minions under his control as Shadow Soldiers. This effect lasts for 1 hour. The Shadow Soldiers have 50% attack power and 150% defense power of the main body, and they won't be destroyed until the main body is destroyed. The cooldown of this skill is 12 hours. Sungwoo tells the Doctor that now he will show him the climax of his story. Doctor is a little bit taken aback by this. Doctor says that he was mistaken as he thought that he was the only one who made some upgrades. But no matter what, Sungwoo is an amazing person. Sungwoo says that he won't beat around the bush. He says that he don't know how long it's taken for them to make something like this. but he will get rid of it in an instant. With that being said, Sungwoo orders his minions to attack. Doctor says that Sungwoo is being impatient as he makes a magic barrier. The elite minions start punching the barrier. The Chimera opens up his mouth to throw some projectiles. Death Knight and the lizard boss manage to dodge the projectiles. The boss monster keeps on spraying out projectiles. At the same time, the shadow soldiers have gotten closer and they started working on dismembering the boss right away. Two boss minions get hold of the wings of the Chimera. Reporter Han is super close to the fight scene. She was only here to catch some scenes of the war, but right now a battle with a giant monster is going on in full swing. There is no time to argue between friends or foe as rampaging of the Chimera has caused some rubble to fall on the players. Some claws pop out of the Chimera as they knock out the shadow minions. Chimera is a creature that repeats evolution and recovery by eating souls, since there are many corpses for it to consume nearby, so Sungwoo will have to fight it for a long time. All of a sudden, a ton of souls burst out of the head of the Chimera. It turns out all this time Sungwoo was collecting souls as well. Sungwoo activates demonic bombardment to harness souls into his weapon. He then uses demonic bombardment to make a huge hole into the Chimera. But the Chimera is still alive after getting hit by demonic bombardment, and it's recovering at a faster pace. Sungwoo is thinking that the Chimera ate a lot of souls. That's why it must be full of energy, and he needs a bigger attack. Sungwoo uses all souls in his possession to activate Twilight Raid. Chimera gets completely wrapped in bandages and Sungwoo quickly gets on top of it. The Chimera won't stop healing since there is a huge supply of souls around them. Sungwoo orders Alpha Male Wyvern as he asks the Chimera if it can handle his next move. Alpha Wyvern gets a hold of the wrapped Chimera. Some bandages get torn down as tentacles come out of the body of Chimera. The Chimera starts wrapping the Alpha Male Wyvern with tentacles. But Sungwoo has already got a backup plan. The Wyverns keep on lifting the Chimera as high as possible so it can't reach any souls. After reaching a considerable height, the Wyverns stop for a second. They drop the Chimera as it gives out a loud shriek. The tentacles of the Chimera try to grab onto something as fast as they can, but they cannot get a hold of anything. The Chimera drops to the ground as its whole body pops out like a watermelon from the impact. The Chimera dies, and Sungwoo receives 1 million gold coins for hunting down experiment number 455. He earned the title, Experiment Disposal Manager, which increased all of his stats by 1. Sungwoo says that 1 million gold for such a hard task is too low, and there is one more thing he needs to take care of. Sungwoo has successfully completed the exclusive quest, The Wrong Being of Death. He is now given an exclusive skill as a reward. This new skill is called Nominate Death Wizard. It's a basic rank skill and it consumes 50 mana. When raising the minions, magical talent is given to them and it turns them into magical minions, and a max of 5 minions can be made into mages. The minions are capable of using multiple magic spells and curses. On improving the rank of the skill, the minions can use even more powerful magic. A minion mage can become a priest of death on satisfying specific conditions. A minion mage can then evolve into a lich on satisfying specific conditions. Sungwoo is thankful to this skill since now he has gotten some proper mages in his arsenal. Sungwoo says that maybe the doctor ran away after seeing that he cannot win. But before he can say anything else, someone throws the doctor toward him. It turns out to be Ji Soo-yoon, and she informs Sungwoo that the doctor was keeping a helicopter ready nearby. She caught him right when he was about to take off. Doctor tells Sungwoo that there is no use in killing him, and Sungwoo asks him if he is saying this because he is a clone. Sungwoo says that not killing you because of that reason is even more ridiculous. With that being said, Sungwoo finishes him off, and he gets 13,000 gold coins for destroying the clone number 1. Ji Soo-yoon informs Sungwoo that Doctor Number 1 disappeared from the 7th rank in Korea. Sungwoo is thinking that there are a lot of clones, and at this rate they will keep coming at him, so maybe he should catch a beastman from the Evolution Society to gather clues in order to track down these clones. Sungwoo tells Ji Soo-yoon that first of all they need to put an end to this war. The head of the dead Chimera is lying on the floor. Something starts popping out of it. It turns out to be Okada Akira, and he is equally pissed at both the Necromancer and the Evolution Society, and he bursts out in anger saying that he will not forgive them.